Hello, this is Mr. Collier, and today we're graphing some special lines. We'll see why they're special in a second. You can already see that their equations are very different than what we're used to. It looks like there's y equals one value. These are lines, and these lines have a particular property. On this particular line, the y value is always 5. So we can graph them by doing a table of values. The y value is always 5. That means that it doesn't matter what the x value is. So negative 1, 5, 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5. Your y value is always going to be 5. So you're going to have 0, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5. You're going to have the negatives. So you can see what happens here. You're going to have what we call a horizontal line, okay, at y equals 5. Alright? You can also think of it as this way. If it's y equals 5 and we want to write it in y equals mx plus b form, slope times x plus b, well, you can write, since there's no x here, you can write this as 0x plus 5, because that will give you y equals 5. So you can see here that the slope equals 0. That's why we have a horizontal line, because the slope equals 0. And then you can graph the y-intercept as 5, slope is 0, so it's just going to be a horizontal line at y equals 5. Similarly, if you do a table of values for the y equals negative 4, you're going to have negative 4, negative 4, negative 4, 4x equals negative 1, 0, 1. So it's always going to be negative 4. So all points on this line are going to be right here. The y value is always going to be negative 4. So that line is y equals negative 4. Okay? Now if we look at the y equals 0, you can make a table of values. If x is negative 1, you're going to have 0. If x is 0, y is 0. If x is positive 1, y is 0. If x is 2, y is 0. Y is always 0. So it's just going to be right here on the x-axis. Okay, so another way to describe the x-axis, or to write the equation of the x-axis, is y equals 0. Because on the x-axis the y value is always 0. That's 1, 0. This point over here is 4, 0. So the y value is always 0. So the equation of the line is y equals 0. So you can see when you have y equals a number, if you have y equals some number, then you're going to have horizontal lines, okay, with slope equals 0. So let's take a look at these types of lines where you have x equals some sort of constant number. So if we do a table of values for the first one, okay, x is always going to be 5. So it doesn't matter what y is, negative 1 or 0 or 1 or 2, x is always going to be 5. So if x is always 5, then we're going to have 5, 0, 5, negative 1, 5, 1, 5, 2, 5, 3, 5, 4, 5, negative 2. So there we go, there's our line. Went a little crooked on the bottom, but this should be a vertical line at x equals 5. So for x equals a constant number, you're going to have vertical lines. Okay? So if you look at the next one, x equals negative 4. Let's look at x equals negative 4. You're going to have, and the x value is always going to be negative 4. Doesn't matter what y is, x is always going to be negative 4. Okay, so we'll go over here to negative 4. This is 0, negative 4, 1, negative 4. Sorry, negative 4, 0, negative 4, 1, negative 4, 2, negative 4, negative 1, negative 4, negative 2. So they're all lined up here in a vertical line. Okay? And the slope of a horizontal line is 0. The slope of a vertical line is is undefined. Okay? We don't have a way to describe the slope of a vertical line. It's undefined. And x equals 0, let's do a different color for that one as well. We have x equals 0. Well, all the x values are going to be 0, so you're going to have 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 2. So it's just going to be the, oops, I've done that wrong. Hang on a second. Should be a vertical line. So at x equals 0, all the x values are 0. So 0, 0, 0, 1, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, negative 1, 0, negative 2, 0, negative 3. So there's your vertical line. X equals 0. So that also corresponds to the y-axis. So another way to describe the y-axis is with the equation x equals 0. So if you see x equals a constant number, it's going to be a vertical line.